the last couple of years, there's been a lot of research about generations in the workforce. And while generation is obviously important, not much research is focused on employee life stage, which is arguably as or even more important. Here to talk about some new research sponsored by WorldatWork is Rebecca Ryan, the Chief Executive Officer of Next Generation Consulting. Welcome, Rebecca.
It's great to see you, Ryan.
Thanks for coming.
It's great to be here.
Let's talk about the purpose and the objectives of the study. First of all, this was WorldatWork sponsored research. Tell us what you were thinking as we started the project.
Well, you kind of hit on it in the introduction. My firm, Next Generation Consulting, has always been really focused on those next generation employees. So when we started the firm in the late 90s, we were focused on Gen X employees, and now of course we're looking also at millennial employees. And through our work with companies, we realized that sometimes, it's not enough to stop with generational looks at employee engagement. So when we applied for this sponsored research project, we said, let's look at life stage instead. And the reason was really twofold. One was we were noticing through our research that there's this little cohort of people between about their late 20s and their early 30s who were starting to, say life-work balance is much more important than anything else. And that was interesting, and we wondered why it was that age group. And then the second thing is that we noticed that high potential employees felt like they were given stretch assignments and leadership opportunities, but they were just facing collapse practically. They felt like they too weren't getting enough air or breathing room in their careers. So we said maybe we should look at life stage, not just at the generational silos.
So without going into too much laborious detail about methodology here,
Yep.
Let's just talk in general terms though about how we collected data for the research.
You bet. So we used a web-based survey. We also used a random digit dialing phone survey. So we had, I think, a few over 800 respondents. And the key thing that we asked people to do is to take the total rewards components, and we gave them 100 points, and we said, drop the points in the buckets that are most important to you. And we also, of course, asked them a lot of things about their life stage, how many dependents they had living at home, whether they were children or adult dependents, where they were in their life stage of their careers, and so forth. And then we just started pulling all that stuff apart.
So let's get right to the results then. What did we find out?
Three kind of really big key findings. The first one is that, for women who have children under 6, they really start to see their work-life importance go up. So they still say that compensation is important, but the difference between women without children and women who have children under 6, it's like this with work-life. It becomes increasingly important. The second key finding is that breadwinners place more importance on benefits than they even do on compensation. So as we define breadwinners, they are people who are adults. They may have dependents at home, but their spouse definitely does not work. Now, the interesting thing about this was that when many of us think of breadwinners, we probably think of males, older males. But our research showed that the average breadwinner, right, who really says benefits are more important than anything else, is a 47-year-old woman who's got 12 years of experience at your organization, 17 years of experience overall. So these are very experienced people who are saying the benefits matter the most. The third finding is that for under 40-year-old employees who are not yet supervisors, development is incredibly important, and this certainly mirrors other things that we've seen in our research, where young professionals want those stretch assignments. They want opportunities to learn and grow. It's weighted, more important than nearly anything else, including compensation. So those are kind of the big three takeaways.
So obviously, Rebecca, this is tremendous validation of this total rewards model, where you don't just focus on compensation or benefits, but you use all of these different variables and you use them as levers.
Yep.
But what does this say about this idea of one size fits all, sort of here's our offering for all employees, and regardless of life stage or regardless of generation, this is what you get?
Yeah, I think we have to retire that notion. I mean, the way we opened this report up was we used the quote from When Harry Met Sally, and some of your viewers will remember there's that scene in the diner where Sally is ordering, I think, a salad or a sundae, and she has all of these different requirements. And then at the conference today, right, we said, who orders coffee at Starbucks? And there was one lady whose order at Starbucks was like a foot long, So we have all these things that we can customize in our day-to-day lives, but when it comes to work, it's like we have to just fit within the boxes of what those things are, which is really, I think, becoming an outdated way of thinking about engaging your employees. So you've got books like Mass Career Customization, Workforce of One. You've got this pretty significant piece of research that shows that it really is the package. And it needs to be negotiated at different life stages.
I want to thank Rebecca Ryan for being the guest today. Of course, this research is available online at worldatwork.org/research. And for World at Work, I'm Ryan Johnson.